This is The Dig on the Huskers Radio Network podcast. Powered by Emeritus. Featuring Nebraska Volleyball Director of Operations, Lindsay Peterson. Here's your host, Jessica Coody.
Welcome back into another episode of The Dig. A couple of more wins to talk about for Husker Volleyball. And joining us this week is Lindsay Peterson. Thanks for being back with us. Another couple wins for you guys over the weekend.
Yeah, it was another good weekend for us. It was great to be home. We were tested, the opponents between Illinois and Michigan, different styles of play. So it was good for our team to have to face one style one night and be able to reset and come back and face another really gritty, tough team in Michigan that ran a different style offense and forced us to do some things that we hadn't done in a while. So it was for the team to respond like that. Michigan's a hot team right now, so for us to get that win, and Illinois too. Illinois hadn't lost since we'd beat them last time at Illinois. So both teams came in, we had a target on our backs against them, and they had a lot of confidence from the way they were playing, and I thought our team responded well.
Let's go back to the Michigan win, and after you dropped the first set, what were some of the adjustments that you started to make and see that needed to change for you guys to end up winning the three after that?
Well, a lot of it was on our side of the net, definitely. I think that first set we had 10 hitting errors, and I don't care who you're playing, if you're going to give 10 easy points that way. And the fact that we were so close, we lost it by 2, and we're right there, and knowing that we didn't play very well at all on our side, and we had a lot of areas that we could clean up on our side, I think gave our team a little bit of confidence that, we were far from our best in that set, and we were right there. So we just need to go back and focus on our side. It started with serving. Michigan's a team that runs a very fast offense, and when they run that fast offense in their in-system, it puts a lot of stress on our blockers and our defense. And we saw that they're in the first set, they were using our block a ton. They were in-system, which challenged us a lot, and so we saw a change in our serving those next 3 sets where we started putting more pressure on them, made their offense a little more predictable, caused them to be a little more, they try to still set fast, but err a little bit more because the pass wasn't perfect. And so changes on our side were the focus, but then going back to, hey, we know this team, this style of offense, to try to shut them down, it starts from the service line. And I felt like our players really responded there, and that gave our team some confidence.
How much can the Huskers learn and take away from that, losing that first set moving forward and adjusting and being better going into this week?
Yeah. It's a great learning lesson. Every match is an opportunity to learn, and I think they came out and saw the importance of you're at home. You can't just use that to your advantage of we're at home, so we already, have points in the bag. You saw Michigan came out attacking and was aggressive right away, and we were backs against the wall and didn't look like we were focused and sharp. And so that was a lesson in itself. Like when it's the first whistle blows, we have got to be attacking and sharp from the beginning and not give teams a bunch of hope and momentum, because it's tough to get back. And so we know, especially looking at our schedule going forward, we're going to be tested in lots of ways. And to have that in your back pocket, knowing that, hey, we were able to not start out so well, but come back, reset, and finish strong, will be something that we're going to have to rely on. But I think we also learned that the importance of you have to come out sharp in this league, and you take a few plays off and you're going to pay for it. And we saw that against Michigan.
Coach Cook mentioned the hitting errors too in his post game, just overall for the match, and just the lack of rhythm maybe offensively. What was the issue in that, and how do you correct that mid-match where you can find a rhythm when it doesn't come out of the gate? You're not in a rhythm out of the gate.
Well, it takes patience on our hitter's part and also with our setter. I know there was a lot of communication going in between Bergen and the hitters, and she kept telling them, I know I need to get you closer. I'm setting you off. She was giving them feedback. The hitters were giving her feedback. So just that communication is beneficial for them, but also patience. And then understanding as hitters, hey, right now, maybe I know that she's trying to get me the set I need, but if it's not there, it's my responsibility to get my feet to the ball and make a play. And so we've been working on that in practice. We've been challenging our hitters a lot in practice on hitting different shots, trying not to hit. The set's not there, don't just hit an easy shot to libero, because we found that, especially against a fast offense, they're going to come back really quick against us in system. And you just want to make it a challenging hit. And so I think our players through the match just continue to communicate with each other. There's not a lot as a staff we can do. You can give feedback here and there about, your first step, second step, waiting on your approach, things like that. But it really comes down to the players have to settle in and get in a rhythm and work through it. And it takes patience, communications, a little trial and error. And I thought by the end of the match, they had settled in a little bit.
We've seen some rotation, too, between Lindsay Krause, Taylor Landfair over the last few weeks. That was another thing that was talked a lot about on the broadcast is just kind of getting the other outsides going. How do you get the other outsides going and being, I guess, more consistent and efficient?
Well, that position is tough because, it carries a pretty heavy load. And right now we need to find confidence. And I think that falls on our players themselves. They just need to go out there and be confident. And our coaches are working hard on ways to help them feel that confidence, know that they can go out and make a big swing and know that they're able to play basically fearless. And it's hard because when you're battling for position, you put more pressure on yourself to be perfect. And then you see that pressure kind of plays into errors or unforced errors or even just being timid in the play once you're out on the court. So just getting them more confident, getting our team more confident around them so that they feel like their teammates trust them on the court. So there's no hesitation plays on, off blocker defense or two people on a ball. Once we clean those things up, I think that also helps the team get in a rhythm and understanding that no matter who's out there, we trust you. We know you're going to do your job, and you're on this team for a reason. It's just now you got to go out and trust yourself and really enjoy it. You've worked. We tell them you put in the work Monday through Thursday or Friday, depending on our schedule. And you're supposed to go out when it's game time. You need to go out and enjoy it and know and trust your training and know you've put that work in and you deserve to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach also talked a lot about this over the last couple of weeks is with Merritt moving back to playing all rotations that, the struggle is now finding opportunities for Laney Chobot. Well, then Harper goes out and she comes in for Harper. What kind of spark does Laney provide no matter who it is that she needs to come in for and spell?
Well, Laney, you can just see she plays with passion. She's 110% effort. She's one of those players that is going to make that play that's just going to bring a huge momentum swing for your team. So it's it's going to happen every match. You're not sure when because she's just that fiery and she's super quick and has a great instinct on the ball defensively. So there's a lot of times you'll see where a ball looks like it's going to be down and then Laney comes flying into the picture and gets it up. And that's to play with somebody like that is a lot of fun, but it carries such a big load on our team because getting her on the court is important, and we want her out there for her defense, her communication, her passing, and it can really wear on hitters when you think of a ball down and you see somebody like that make a scrappy play. So finding a place for her to get on the court. Laney is open. She knows her role. She wants to do whatever she can to help the team. And she knows when she gets out there, she has an opportunity to really provide a spark. And it takes a special player to do that, especially when it's not a set rotation. You don't, you have to be concerned about how many substitutions you have. Your play time is reliant on that. And yet to come in and be able to make a play when you're called on is really a special talent and something that, is huge for our team. And she is a game changer for us because we know she's going to come in and make some type of play that will get the momentum on our side.
One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about today, being that you just faced Illinois and a former, I guess, part of Coach Cook's coaching tree and Chris Thomas, you were part of that. You and Alf and Coach came back. You got a couple on the staff that played for Coach Cook. But, you look across college volleyball and just the impact that Coach Cook has had in the coaching realm of things. What is it about Coach Cook that he's able to develop? We talk a lot about him developing players, but developing coaches that can go out and make an impact in this sport.
Well, I think Coach Cook is one of the best trainers in the game of volleyball. And so for any of those coaches that come and learn under him, they're learning how to train athletes to be elite at the best level. And it's not just elite on the court. He trains the whole athlete, and that's his focus, from nutrition to strength and conditioning to the mental side. He's focused on all that. And I think when those coaches come in, they learn more than just the X's and O's in volleyball. They learn how important a relationship is with the athletes. They learn how to manage a program at an elite level, and it's how much goes onto the plate of the head coach. They really have a full plate of from media responsibilities to, working with each member of the team, working with the staff, prepping for matches, recruiting, you name it. He has his hand in it all. And I think our coaches that have gone on and had great success have really taken away to see how he manages it all, but also the importance that he puts on the relationship with his staff and his players. And then also the understanding that it's constantly changing. You have to evolve. And coaches, Coach Cook's been here and coaching a lot of years, and he's not the same coach that he was when he first came here. And I think that's a great lesson that our coaches have learned and they've been able to take away, and they find pieces of what he does really well and find a way to apply that into their style of coaching and how they want their program to look. But, they talk all the time about when they're here, they joke how much a routine. John's such a man of routine, and we do things, and his attention to detail is second to none. And when you're in it, sometimes you joke about it, but when you step away, you realize how important it is. And I think they really value that, and then they apply that and see how it can really reap rewards for them in the program they've moved to.
For you and your role in being the director of operations, what about that and just you do so much and people don't even realize that, and you are connected with so many different aspects of the athletics department. What about it do you enjoy of kind of your role in being able to manage a lot of different things and be involved in a lot of different things, but then still be involved so much with the day-to-day planning of and executing of basically producing a high-level volleyball team?
Yeah, that's something I love about my job is it's different every day, and just getting to work with so many different departments and people and to see the effort that it takes to put on a match. I mean, it was when I started this, back when we were in the Coliseum, the focus more was the day-to-day of volleyball and what volleyball was about. And now, just because every match is so big and the magnitude that our volleyball team has now and the how popular women's sports is growing, it's truly an event every time. And so just working with people within our staff to make sure that we're putting the best product out there for our fans, and we're trying to keep that standard as, the best volleyball venue in the nation, and really paying attention to those things it's a lot of fun for that, to keep that challenge going, but then also to see that I can still be tied in with the players and the team, and I'm still involved that way, and I know what our game plan is, and I know the struggles our players might be facing, and hopefully, although it's been a lot of years since I've been in their shoes, I hope that I can provide some support and just if they need confidence, if they need some motherly love, whatever they may need, I can supply for them and have that impact on our team in that manner. So, it's a different coat every day. It might be a day where I have to be a cheerleader. It might be a day I need to be a mother. It might be a day I need to hold people accountable. And then it's a huge team that I'm working with. And I think that's what makes my job so fun and unique. And it's not just the X's and O's of volleyball and watching film and breaking that down. I really have an opportunity to get involved with so many more people.
What made you prepare to be able to do all of that? And how did you get so good at it? For someone that might be interested in this field, I guess, what was that process like for you to be able to manage all the different hats that you wear?
Well, I think having played under, Coach Cook helps, because I have a true understanding of his expectation, the standard that he wants Nebraska volleyball to be at. And I think that definitely gives me a hand in this job because I have that understanding. But also, just when I started, there wasn't a lot of director volleyball operations out there. A couple of the jobs I held before I came here, I was an assistant coach plus wore the hat of what a director of ops does too, as far as managing travel and equipment and meals and organizing and doing all that. So I think I learned then the importance of organization, and I had an opportunity when I was a player to see Diane Mendenhall work as a director of ops for volleyball and see the role she really played and see how she impacted our team and how you have to think outside the box and really be creative in this role sometimes. And she was a great mentor for me in that area. And then, you learn as you go. Like I say, every year we bounce from different conferences. Every year's a new challenge. There's a new, Coach Cook's always trying to raise the bar one more thing. What else can we do? How can we do this? And being open-minded constantly and not getting complacent is probably one of the biggest keys. And I don't know that you go to school to find out how to be a director of ops. I think you have to be able to work with all kinds of people. You have to be willing to, make changes on the fly and work under stressful situations. And if you're organized and you're a people person, I think right there you have some great skills to get you going in that area. And then from there you learn from what your boss wants basically, and try to make each day easiest for him or her and do what you can to help the program.
You talked about this too, but when you were a player and then how much it's evolved, and we've had this conversation a lot over the last couple of years, but would you have thought that you would have gotten to the point where you were helping get bobbleheads for Coach Cook and, build a court out in the stadium and just all the things now that come along with, like you said, the event of Nebraska volleyball, not just winning and competing for national titles, but the entertainment value that comes along with it?
That was not in the list of job descriptions when I took the job. So it's just something that has evolved and changed, but it's been so important for not only our program, but women's sports in general, because I think we truly are a role model for so many programs, because we have the success on the court. We have the resources here at Nebraska. We have the support of our fans and administration. So we have all those things that a lot of programs may not have the luxury of having, being able to check all those boxes. They may have one or two. And so I think Coach always talks about dreaming big here. And I think we do that. It gives other people and other programs hope and courage to do the same thing. And so it's not just about, impacting our players that way, of making them understand that you can do things, big things, like, the sky's the limit really. And that we've really done that for women's sports. And I think that's something else that really speaks to John as a coach, is he has never let no be the answer. And he's never been afraid to push it a little bit more or try to take a chance or take a risk to try to raise the level for women's sports and for the game of volleyball. And I think that's something that the coaches, as they go out, not only has he mentored them in the X's and O's, but he's given them that to show, hey, you have to be willing to take a risk. The greater the reward, the greater the risk you have to take to receive that. And he's shown that yearly here with our program, and how he has really brought it up to where it is, and has instilled that then on the coaching staff members who've gone on to coach other places. And you see them doing big things, Danny and Chris, and coaching at levels and trying things where maybe it wasn't expected or heard of at the program they're at, and now they're trying it there and they're having success because they're trying to do what Nebraska does. So I didn't see it coming, but I think it's really a kind of a compliment to our program and our university department for what we're able to do here. And it is now a responsibility, I feel, in my job to continue to do things that would get us on the map and raise people's eyebrows across the nation.
And on that note, I guess a little bit more, you guys just played on NBC, which we talked about last week on the episode, but what are those conversations like when you have TV networks coming in that, hey, we want to try to put volleyball on our network, we've never done it before? How does that process go, where you've got these TV executives coming in and we're going to test it out on Nebraska?
Yeah, it's exciting because I think they understand that they want to put a product on the court that people are going to want to watch and entertaining. And we hear all the time that our players are fun to watch. We have a team that loves to play together. They play with passion. We have a very talented, physically talented team. And for people to see that what the athletic ability of young women these days is incredible. The speed at which they play, how high they can jump, is fascinating. And so when somebody's coming in and wants to put that on and they think of Nebraska, they are always kind of amazed or at awe when they are asking us questions about a player or how we train or what we do to get to this, because that's not expected. It's not the norm for female athletics, I don't think. And so to understand that we're doing things here like men's programs have done for years, and now this is a thing in women's sports, is something that people have really caught a hold of, and especially these TV networks that are coming out and putting volleyball on for the first time, and they are seeing the results that, hey, women's basketball, women's volleyball, it's a hot ticket item right now, and people want to see it. And so for us to be part of that is special, because we know that they have to be picky and they want to put the best thing out there, obviously, to get the viewers.
Oh, that's great. Greg was asking me this the other day on Sports Nightly, and I said I'd pose this on the episode this week, but he had asked about, do you think this team gets to a point where, okay, we're winning, we're in the middle of the conference season, let's get to the postseason. But do you guys find ways to challenge them week in and week out so that it doesn't get, okay, let's get through this regular season and just get to the postseason? I guess, how do you manage that when you are knocking off these wins week by week but continuing to want to strive for more and see the challenge within each week, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that with our team as, here we are midway through the conference season, and this is where it gets hard. Teams are starting to get tired, get worn out. The weight and the stress of travel, especially the conference travel now from coast to coast, is starting to wear on teams. And we're about to face a big 2-week stretch here with 2 big road trips and matches at Wisconsin and Oregon and Washington and Northwestern. I mean, places where the atmosphere we know is going to be intense and the competition across the net is going to be at a very high level. And so we try to find motivation each week, and knowing that, we're facing new teams, we get to new places, that's a little bit of keeps our players hungry and focused on what's at hand. But we also have the goal of the Big Ten being Big Ten champions. And we know that that's a 10-week grueling battle, and we have to stay focused for 10 weeks for that and can't look ahead. And if we accomplish that goal that we have at the end of those 10 weeks, then that really sets us up for a great postseason. And then that's where we say, hey, this is what we've worked for. Now let's go enjoy these next 3 weeks of postseason. But it is, especially this time of year. I mean, the weather's changing, and we've gotten through fall break and, midterms, and you're on the halfway slide of the first semester of school, and you're starting to see injuries, a little bit, pick up a little bit more, just, little nagging things here and there, viruses going around, things like that. And it's easy, and you will see teams that succumb to that type where we've kind of just hit the wall and they take a step back. But I think that's something we train all summer for this hard in November when your body and your mind may be tired, but how we push through that. And it takes a lot of creativity on our coaching staff's part to try to find ways to keep the team invested and new and create new things. So we'll throw new drills in here and there. We'll do some things that change up our practice routine a little bit just to keep it fresh and new. And then we also understand that right now maybe a 3-hour practice isn't necessary. We look at where their bodies are at and help them that way so we can make sure we're getting into each match, going into each match as recovered and fresh and physically and mentally prepared as possible. And that's really, that's probably the biggest thing that our coaching staff does at this time of year is when that wall comes up, we try to find ways to break down that wall to make sure we can get over it.
So it's definitely a challenge for this time of year. Yeah.
For not only for us, but for a lot of teams. Because the reality is you're either halfway through your conference and you're like, if we don't win every game here on out, we don't make postseason for some teams. So they may be throwing in the towel. Other teams may be in a battle where we need to win a couple more games and we should be set. So they have that pressure on them. And then there's other teams like, that, hey, we're in it to go win the conference and we got to get better each week because we see what's ahead. I mean, this is a grueling conference and we have 5 weeks left and we play a lot of top ranked teams in those 5 weeks. So we know we have to go in and be ready to battle. And like Coach says, it's 3 games by 2 points and we have to find a way to get 2 points better each day.
So before we talk about the big matchup on Friday and then at Northwestern on Sunday, with the week to be able to train, which we've heard you guys talk a lot about, it's nice to be able to have. What's the focus for this week then? What are the areas that the Huskers are focusing on to be able to improve and get better on this week?
Well, we definitely need to continue to work on our block. We know we're going to face some teams that are their offenses are high-power offenses, especially in Wisconsin. They seem to be getting into a really good rhythm right now. They're playing at a very high level. We know they're going to be a big block. So our attackers, we're going to have to work a lot this week on our attackers being confident and knowing how to find ways to score when you're faced up against a big block. And then, as always, we focus on our offense. We want to be able to be a smooth offense. We didn't see that like we were hoping this weekend. We were a little choppy in some areas, and so we'll work and look at attacking that and try to figure out how we can smooth some things out there, and then constantly still build the confidence from the service line, because that's really going to be our key when you go into these type of matches and environments. We're going to be playing in a rowdy environment in Madison, and our players have to be able to go back at the service line and be willing to go for it and have the confidence that they can do that. And so, our week, each week is obviously to how can we get better on our side and then find ways to attack the team we're playing. But even also it's now we have to find that our team has to feel confident and go in feeling good and confident. And so that'll also be important to make sure we have the right mindset by the end of the week.
All right, well, let's dive into it. You had mentioned Wisconsin finding a rhythm. Tell us about this matchup. Obviously, you guys are super familiar with a lot of their players playing there, but this specific matchup on Friday, can you dive into that and break that one down for us?
Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin they have a freshman setter who gets better each week. I think that's maybe why you saw them start off a little shaky, and that's typical. But we know what they have in their hitters. They have a lot of experience at the pens. Like I said, they're a big physical block. So we're going to have to be able to really have that next point mentality and be willing to attack. And if they throw a punch, we got to throw a punch right back. And we know that it's going to be a battle and kind of war of attrition. Hey, we'll keep fighting. It's not won in the first 5 points. We know that atmosphere is going to be rowdy and loud and crazy. So being able to communicate at a high level will be crucial for us, especially, when you're on the road like that, you have to go take something from a home team. And so being able to communicate at a high level and start off right away, attacking will be crucial for our team, and it'll help build our confidence early. But yeah, we're very familiar with Wisconsin, and they're very familiar with us.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to make what makes it fun and such a challenge is it's both sides of the net are very talented, and you have to just try to play that chess match and try to figure out how you can just make a move here and there and find a way to, at the end, just a couple points advantage to get the win. And I think, our players thrive in these type of matches. That's why they come here. They want to play these type of matches. And that's comforting itself as a staff and as a team to know that, hey, we have 14 players and our whole coaching staff that's why they want to be at Nebraska, is to be playing in these type of matches. And we'll go in and do everything we can to come out victorious.
And then at Northwestern on Sunday, finally, you don't have a back-to-back. And on the road, too, so that's got to be nice to have the day in between and then to get to play on Sunday. But tell us about that one. I know you guys focus one match at a time, but if you can preview that one for us, too. Yeah,
well, actually, it was scheduled as a match. It was a back-to-back, and then our Wisconsin match was an 8 o'clock start and traveling to Northwestern. And so it was nice that Northwestern worked with us, and now we're playing on a Sunday, and they're doing a doubleheader with women's basketball just to try to really find a way to bring a ton of fans in for the afternoon there. And it sounds like they're accomplishing that. It sounds like tickets are a little hard at Northwestern right now, but they're a team as well that they have some experience. They brought in some transfers. It's a new look than what we've seen from last year with a new coaching staff, some new transfers. But they're a team that is similar to Michigan. In fact, that they've had some good wins. When they get hot, it's tough, and they are always tough at Northwestern. They play really well. They use this as an opportunity. I mean, they look at it as they go out and play free. They have nothing to lose, and so they're confident and go for what they can. And when you play with that type of mentality, it really changes how you play the game. And so we try to talk to our players about, trying to play with that same mentality and don't feel like you're always the hunted. Go out and hunt, do the hunting, and no matter who's on the other side of the net. So Northwestern is not the same look as what Wisconsin is going to be. So once again, it'll be another opportunity for our team to be able to play one match and then reset and refocus and get ready to play another style of volleyball. They run a little faster. They don't have quite as physical of players on the other side of the net, so that'll change our blocking and attacking schemes some. But the basics of passing, serving and passing, especially on the road, are really what are going to be our keys this weekend.
Great stuff, as always. Best of luck to you guys, and I appreciate you being here with us.
Yeah, thanks, Jess.
And that's Lindsay Peterson joining us here for this week's episode of The Dig, powered by Emeritus. Emeritus is proud to power this podcast and all of Husker women's sports. Thanks for listening and watching, and as always, make sure you subscribe and like wherever you listen to never miss an episode right here on the Huskers Radio Network podcast.